Timeless, Chapter 4, Part 2. The sound of cracking stone echoed from the cavern's walls, a lone unicorn ducking a swinging canvas punching bag to deliver a brutal kick. The remnants of the bag's brethren were present against the wall, torn and battered from being used for the past few hours. With each strike, the unicorn's mouth moved almost imperceptibly, and yet even though not audible, words were still present with every motion of his lips. Faces flashed to his mind, even as tears mingled with the sweat that rolled from his brow and cheeks. I can remember. Copperbit. He always had that stupid coin in his saddlebags all the time. The punching bag groaned under a flurry of strikes, the stallion's hoof shattering the rocks held within. Dusty barrel. He always ran the cleanest inn I've ever seen. The bag swung back, and shifting sands met it with a devastating hind kick that tore some of the canvas material. And steel flask. I swear, he was addicted to that hard cider held in that metal container of his. More strikes tore at the bag, shifting now letting out a growl as he felt his hooves begin to ache. For the first time in years, the stallion could see the faces and names of his friends. I was there, and I was at their funerals too. More tears slid from the stallion's eyes, making his target blurred and shimmer. I helped to lay them to rest, celebrated their life with their friends. I did care. Letting out a roar, Shifting sent a punch into the center of the bag, causing it to rip and spray out gravel across the floor. His horn ignited with a furious flash, a blast of raw energy burning away the canvas and heating up the rocks to molten slurry. His armor was long since discarded, and Shifting's sides heaved for breath as sweat matted his fur. I can feel. I can remember them all. As he guided his magic to shove the ruined bag aside and hang a new one, Shifting caught sight of two yellow eyes staring at him from the entrance of the long tunnel. I wondered how long it would take to be noticed here. I know Luna gave you an order to not come here, but if you are curious, you can stay in the tunnel and watch. Just be careful. I'd rather not hurt one of her guards. An armored Thestral now trotted into the hallway, stopping halfway with a nod. If I saw a crying pony beating up a stone-filled punching bag, I'd be perplexed too. Shifting finished hanging the new bag and began his routine. A series of lefts, then right jabs, some kicks, and then an all-out assault on the bag for a few moments, and then repeat. The small audience quickly faded from his mind, more faces now surging to the fore. Shiny turnip. I always thought your name was silly, but you always grew the best crops in the province. I hope you were watching and laughing from the clouds as your grandchildren made your farm explode in popularity and then prosper. The bag swung back, hitting Shifting in the shoulder with a thud. The unicorn spun, delivering a kick that turned chunks of stone into mere gravel. Steam gear. I never thought that engine of yours would work, but you didn't. And your children revolutionized how to log and process trees and planks. How could I forget any of you? A few tears sprang back to Shifting's eyes, a slight growl leaving his throat. Tossing the bag aside with a surge of magic, the unicorn focused on 5 wooden pony mannequins in the corner. With a spark of arcane energy, they activated, drawing wooden practice weapons as they advanced. I never forgot about you. You were always there. Charging the lone unicorn, the 2 earth pony mannequins swung their swords first, the 2 unicorns and 1 Pegasi circling around behind him. It could have been Shifting's imagination, but he could have sworn a collective gasp arose from some pony that echoed throughout the chamber as he blocked the strike with his forelimb, grinning at the faceless combatant. His strengthened bones only ached slightly, muscles humming with energy at a blow that should have fractured his forelimb. But a single face stood out from amongst his memories. A young blue filly, happily waving him on, treating him as a pony rather than a mere commoner, the act making the colt smile for the rest of the day. A proud lunar princess, welcoming him to his personal guard with a quip only he would have understood. And most recently, a gentle shoulder lean on, providing comfort where none was to be had elsewhere. You've always been there, haven't you, Luna? I wonder if your guards know, if Equestrian knows what I do. Can they see your grandeur? Maybe even your hidden playful spirit? Can they see the pony that I swore to defend with my life? The training dummy swarmed the unicorn, Shifting blocking strike from wooden sword, knife, or hoof. His eyes began to glow, a determined smirk edging on his features. Tapping the floor, Shifting caused a rune to ignite across the ground, white bolts of arcane energy zipping across his frame. Jumping and delivering a punch that shattered the wooden skull of a dummy, Shifting skated towards another, the blow with his shoulder shattering the unicorn's durable structure. As the training ponies began to regenerate, the unicorn yanked a familiar saber from his discarded armor on the side of the cavern, the edge glowing soft white. The glow from his horn brightened even further, a shield of sand-colored magic weaving itself into form on his left forelimb, hovering and awaiting his commands while the saber held out with his magic in front. Now he knew that there was some pony muttering, but Shifting paid it no mind. With a smile, he glanced at the magical shield and the saber, the familiar tools feeling like another appendage after all these years. Emblazoned on the shield's front face and the saber's pommel was the ancient sigil of the Lunar Knights. I never renounced my vows, and perhaps someday I can be worthy of that station once again. With a roar, the unicorn charged towards the dummies, his weapon beating the others to splinters, shield blocking strike after strike. Copper bit, dusty barrel, steel flask, shiny turnip, steam gear, I remember you all, and so many others. Luna's words flashed to the front of Shifting's mind, the stallion beating the nearest wooden pony's face to a pulp with his bare hooves.
We remain to ensure that their legacy lives on.
Shifting's eyes continued to glow as he sent a magical commands to 5 more training dummies, sharpening the edge of his saber with a growl. And so I will. Their legacy, my legacy, and to protect her. As the 10 opponents charged, Shifting ready to shield and saber with a bellow. Come on then! Even the clash of wood and metal that ensued could not drown out a few cheers that emanated from the tunnel entrance.
Your Highness?
A royal guard asked respectfully, stifling a yawn.
I apologize for the interruption, but there appears to be a gathering at your private training grounds. Thank you, Corporal. I will see to it.
A grumble left the alicorn's mouth as she trotted over to her private study, heading towards the caves. It was almost time for her to lower the moon, and she was fatigued from both a day or two of interesting events, as well as her duties in the Dream Realm.
I expected my guards would eventually find Shifting, despite the notes. But so help me, if they are intervening, I will...
Her jaw dropped on seeing over 24 Thestrals gathered in the hallway, the nearest waving to her and prompting a slight smile.
Well, I always did see them as family more than subordinates, as it should be, perhaps. Remaining loyal after all these years. Princess! Have you seen this guy? I mean, of course you have, but he said that we could watch by the way, so it's okay.
The bat pony squeaked, her gray-furred ears swiveling as the sounds of combat echoed throughout the cavern. Making her way through the tide of similarly colored Thestrals, Luna sat down near the front, her night guards parting to make way. She wasn't concerned about another betrayal, not from this bunch. These appear to be some of the newest recruits, and had been the first guards to be double-checked after the incident a day or so ago, for true intent and hidden motives. Barely a month into training, they likely hadn't even fully understood the traitorous events that had even transpired.
Of course they're the ones to find Shifting. I suppose they'll be the first to be taught, so how appropriate.
She then caught sight of the stallion, and the alicorn's eyes could only widen in surprise. Dancing among 10 training dummies, Shifting Sands was a blur of movement and arcane energy. His saber lashed out to sever the heads of 3 at once, with the shield held to his left blocking strike after strike, occasionally smacking the head of an opponent who got too close.
He's been like this for hours. It's incredible.
One of the guards whispered to Luna's left. Something seemed to stir within the stallion in front of her. Shifting let out an enraged roar as he battered one of the dummies with his hooves, breaking off a limb or two before stomping it with his rear hooves. All the while, his eyes were aglow with a brilliant crimson sheen, and Luna's sharp gaze noted that both tears and sweat occasionally dripped down Shifting's cheeks. And yet, the stallion was the most alive Luna had ever seen from him. Every move was delivered with precision and the utmost power, no holds being barred as he engaged his 10 opponents. Every block with his saber and shield was impeccable, and yet there were times that he disregarded both and just used his hooves. It was like watching an artist paint a glorious masterpiece, or in this case, forcefully deconstruct one.
1,000 years of training.
She saw a smirk dawn on Shifting's face, the stallion tapping the ground with his hooves. Determination seemed to fill the unicorn's frame, as the 10 dummies arrayed themselves in front of him. What not te confirma ubi infirme sum! Shifting bellowed, the runes surrounding the stallion, igniting with a blue light that made every pony wince. The new recruits now gasped, a light blue half-moon now shining brightly above the stallion as energy licked across his sweat-plastered frame. His weapons were now discarded, and Shifting's raw blow surged with power, energized by the spell that he had cast. The slightest blush now dawned on Luna's cheeks, as Shifting battled, the words of the spell reaching up from her memory.
May the night strengthen where I am weak.
Luna whispered with a smile, not able to tear her gaze away from the stallion.
He's fantastic.
She blinked, thankful her thoughts were not broadcast to the odd pony surrounding her, even if she had no reservations about such a statement.
You are quite a stallion, Shifting. I only hope that we can adjust you to this new life, as my sister has helped me.
The dummies now shivered to a stop, shifting spells slowly fading away as he gasped for breath. With a flourish to the ceiling, the saber was then stowed as the shield vanished. Only now did the unicorn turn to fully look at the crowd, Thestral stomping their hooves onto the ground in approval. A bit of color rose to the unicorn's cheeks at the sight, his brown eyes meeting Luna's for a brief moment. The alicorn's heart skipped a beat, as she saw nothing but adoration and determination in Shifting's gaze. The unicorn then taking a mock bow.
What are you thinking, Shifting Sands? What other surprises do you have for me? You two, can you please inform Shifting where the showers are?
Luna directed to the nearest guards, the new recruits happily nodding and guiding the stallion down a side hall, Shifting nodding to Luna respectfully with a slight smile. As the Thestrals dispersed and Luna made her way back to her own quarters, two brown eyes refused to leave her mind, and the emotion that had swirled within them gave Luna pause at every recollection. Luna seems to be crushing on Shifting. That seems a little bit obvious, but I wonder if some of the recruits are as well. It's probably a low chance that it would actually happen, but you never know. Anyway, let's get on to our perceptive donators. Top donators: TacoCat598, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, Ponyman, and Gauntlet. Zar630, Strix, Raiden, Narwhals, Black Moonheart, Drake Lovedragon, Pastel Skies, Dosbo, Madman Stan, Delta Omega, Jack Hedge, RuneScythe9852, Hunter Norman, Dash of Evergreen, Rhynie Dragonwolf, Tal Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brother Mordred, Ronin Wandering, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Skyochia, Leslie Prickett, Jordan Peterson, Crimson Kitsune 9, Lightskin, Monster Kitty, Tim Bob, Starlight Glimmer, Lightning Blitz, Squiddy Boy, David D. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Hunter Mara, Alex F, Rainbow Dash, Teal'c Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Rakau, Mystery CU, Edgar Garcia, One Kingdom 1, Nissa Rusan, Vazuri, Dyslexic Character Sheets, Just a Random Boy, Hodrick Puncart, A Crazy Person, Ponyman365, Neapolitan, 6 of 9, Shyfire, Stamp, and Dion Baseri. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.